Hello, Michelle. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Benito.
To the viewers, I'm Benita Cantieni, the founder of Cantienica Body in Evolution, a fitness method or body work that works right from the bone cells, stating that bones have their own intelligence, and if the bones are aligned the best, ideally, according to your personal and unique blueprint, then you reach everything when you exercise, meaning the tendons, the ligaments, the fascia, very important, and of course, the muscles. With me is Michelle. And I think you're an absolutely brave girl all by yourself in London trying to bring people to notice and realize and feel and see that uh, there is a method that can really change one's life. Hi.
Yes, thank you. So when I moved to London about 8 years ago, I was looking for a CANTIENICA instructor and I was so disappointed. There just was no one in London or in the UK. So I thought it's time to change this.
That's probably just when Monica Hammer moved back to Zurich, to Switzerland.
So I missed her then.
Yes. And we seemed on a good path, and then pandemic came. Uh, I saw you created a lovely homepage, so let's give people an idea what we are talking about. It's brand new, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lovely. So you have private lessons.
Yeah.
Now, what's the difference between private in-person session or and online, of
Online.
course? Yeah,
Yes, so
and
I
with
do both.
classes.
Mhm.
And here, you, whoever is interested, can get in touch. We'll add it to the video.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
thanks.
when did you start with the training? And I read you had the same motivation as I did. I invented the whole thing due to my scoliosis, and you too.
Yes, exactly. So actually, I started then at the start of the pandemic because there, I could do online classes. That's why we're in Germany and Switzerland. The Cantenica studios started to do online lessons. They were kind of forced to it. Now it's just every day, isn't it, to
Yeah,
do it
it was a
online?
big shift.
It was, yeah. And yeah, so to be honest, I got to know the Cantinica method already years ago because of my sister. So she started it and she was just amazed. Like after the first lesson, she said, "Oh my God, it was really life-changing for her." And she just couldn't stop talking about it. Like the whole family, we were already so
And
annoyed for her.
where does she live? And what's her name?
So back then she lived in Berlin and there she went to a studio and to a
Let me
Cantina.
guess. Evelyn Dunhoy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
lovely.
exactly. So she absolutely loved it. I said it was life-changing for her. Um, of course, she showed me the movement, and when I was in Berlin to visit her, I went with her to one lesson as well. But I think for me, I feel like I haven't had the access to it yet. I really liked like high intensity workouts, very sweaty, loud music, flashing lights. And I just didn't know, when we were talking about bones and sit bones and ligaments, I just didn't have the access to it. Yeah.
If you are up to it, you could create Cantienica with music and action and flashlights. Because I really think young people want to be entertained now.
Yes.
For a while it was all quite. We used to work with music, and then I have this hearing deficiencies since I'm 3 by an accident. So I can't bear a background noise. But if you are up to, we would love to have it, create a workshop for the licensees.
Yeah, why not try it out? Because I'm still like, I still go to gym classes a lot, high intensity. I work with weights as well, body weight exercises. But then now I quite love the contrast to it. So then when I started the second time, because I just saw how it changed my sister's body, and it was just unbelievable how her posture changed. And I thought, oh, that's just not possible, there is something behind the CANTIENICA method. So you should really try it. And it was mainly for prevention because of my scoliosis, because doctors told me, oh, you will have a herniated disc, very likely. And I could even so, I wasn't in a lot of pain, but still I could feel it that I was a bit imbalanced, that something wasn't quite right. And then, so the second time when I tried it, I just couldn't stop it. I remember, I was sitting in my living room just constantly doing small exercises because it just felt so, so great. Yeah, and then even afterwards, after a while when I did it, just so many things changed in my body. For example, sometimes I had like knee pain when running. I was thinking, it's normal, it's my running shoes, it's because I'm running on the pavement, everyone has it. And then suddenly I realized, oh, it's gone. You can do something against it. It was also, I had loads of neck pain because I was working long, long hours. And again, I just thought after 13
Interesting
hours
point for the
sitting.
viewers in your main job at the moment. I hope it's going to change soon and forever. You're a lawyer in financial services, so you're sitting a lot.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm sitting a
Sorry,
lot.
I interrupted, but I find it an interesting detail.
Yeah, and because that's so completely different, isn't it? Just sitting on the desk, like working on the screen the whole day. Um, Yeah, and I think again, like I had back pain, stiff neck, and again, I just thought, it's natural, especially, when we're stressed, we just tense up. And I thought, that's just what it is.
And
Yeah, and then I realized, it just disappeared. Also my posture just improved so much. I even now looking back at old pictures, I even didn't realize how bad my posture was, or just now in comparison, how much my body changed. Um,
it's interesting. The posture is a blind spot for a lot of people.
yeah.
So we both wish that uh, we can articulate and really tell people you can make a difference. So, what was the catch that really, was it really watching your sister change so much?
So
You
this was when I thought, let's just give it a second try. And also beforehand, I have to say I went to one Cantinica lesson. And also I know lots of instructor. First, you have to do a private lesson where they explain everything. But because I was there to visit my sister, the instructor said, it's fine, just come in and participate. Um, but yeah, then this was, let's just try it again. I did it. It felt great. And then I think when I really realized, like, oh my God, it's really something is changes in my body. It's because when I'm laying flat on my back, like my rib cage is very uneven, and I can see it. And I said, okay, these are my ribs. I can't do anything. How can I change my ribs? But actually, we
we
do it.
can change it. We can change it.
Exactly, and I think it was like the first time, and then when I was lying doing Cantinica, lying down, looking at my rib cage again, that I just felt, oh my God, like it's nearly evened out. So this was when I really also not only felt, but also saw that something is actually changing. So yeah, this was an amazing feeling. And I just thought, okay, I just have to continue. Like, yeah.
That's a very important point. One has to stick to it. Um, when you say high impact, I love to do sports, and I only started with my method with 47 or so, and up to then, state of art was scoliosis cannot be cured, cannot be repaired, never talk about healing. So I discovered physical activity late, and I find it the perfect maintenance for everything. Would you agree on that?
Oh,
You
100%.
know, I can follow high impact training. I can jog. I'm 74 and I go jogging nearly, as you know, nearly every day. And I do the split. And now in summer, I love to swim. And I used to be extremely clumsy in crawling. And then a couple of years ago, I realized that with this alignment, this true erection of the
Mhm.
body, and I only have to move my legs ever so slightly, and with the gold egg, it's just fantastic. And I crawl so easily, and it's so fantastic.
It is, yeah, and I also kind of see it really as basis of all the movement. And because also beforehand, I guess because of my scoliosis, it was quite easily injured my lower back. And now because with every movement I do, like whether it's burpee or with a barbell, I just know exactly how I have to move or how, with my body, also to activate our innermost muscles to align everything perfectly. And I really feel like because of this, I do all the other exercises correctly as well. I don't get injured that easily anymore. I even can't remember when I had my last injury. Also, like with the running, you said, no, you love to run as well. And I realized it's just so much easier because I think beforehand I was really like tilted. And once I realized, use your diaphragm, just be straight, suddenly I just got so much more air and it was a lot easier, I just went for it and I could run for ages.
Run forever. When it was so hot, I didn't go. Should have would have had to get up 2 o'clock in the morning. I didn't do it. So now we had a couple of cool days, and I went out again, and I started, and then my feet and my ankle joint and the knees and the hips had sort of adjust. And after 10 minutes, it was just sheer bliss. And I didn't realize I was running for over 2 hours and, up and down. And so um, uh, I would love to give the viewer an idea of what we do.
Mhm.
First rule is think yourself away off the floor. You would agree on that.
Yeah.
It should sort of change the way we understand gravity as a light force, and then when people lose their posture, they do it in a chain reaction. If I tilt my pelvis forward, my chest comes forward, my head comes forward, my knees are too much forward. And we do the exact same thing, but in the positive way, that we create chain reactions from the toe up to the crown.
Yeah. Yeah, and it really feels like so that's my experience as well, like with my clients. I haven't had a client, said, "Oh my God," because it is new here in London, the CANTIENICA method. I'm aware it's very new for everyone. They don't know what it is, They might expect something like Pilates or yoga, and then it's just something completely different. So in the beginning, I am always a bit nervous and think, oh, what if people just don't
Now,
feel
let me ask,
anything?
how do you achieve? That's fantastic. how do you manage to make people try? Because whenever, very often people say, yeah, yes, I do that in my Pilates class, or they look at a picture or a video. Yes, yes, that's like yoga. And it's so different. And in my generation, a lot of people just refuse to try. So how do you manage?
So I think it's really mostly people that knew me a bit, or they're like friends, or the people
Okay.
that trust and think, okay, if this person, or I heard it from someone else that it is an amazing method, okay, let's just try it, like whatever. Um, so I think this is the main way because, as you said, it's so, and I fully understand that it's difficult to try something new, especially, there's so many different things. Or if you're on social media, like there's this program and this like for your pelvis floor, and here and there. And I feel like there's just an overload. And then how should you know what is really good, like what works? But I think it's trying, isn't it? Just to believe what we're saying and what we experience, and then just to give it a go.
Maybe I have the disadvantage that I am I invented it, and the founder, that people, like to play it down, especially when they learn that, knew me as a journalist. It's somehow not
Mm.
possible. And then I'm kind of have a vain argument. I was so happy in journalism. I wasn't looking for a new job. It really had to be something to get hooked on.
Mhm.
I tried everything. Alexander techniques and Feldenkrais and Rolfing were more my uh, uh, the things, and they are good. They taught me how to live as well as possible, as good as possible with what is. But I wanted more. With this idea, I can undo the scoliosis. So 30 years, I'm still amazed. It just goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah, yeah. But like, how did it develop? Because you tried it first yourself, right? At one point, you realized, oh, it's working. Or do you remember? Was there like just one light bulb moment, or was it just slowly that you realized, okay?
Uh, the breathing was the game changer for me. I learned to breathe. As I said, I had this hearing thing, and according to that, I had a logopedic issue, and was young and pretty and wanted to go out in the world, and was ashamed of all I took with me. And I took acting classes. That was much more fun than just logopedic. What do you? It's that in English. Logopedic,
I think so. Just speech
speaking,
therapy.
speech therapy. So acting was far more fun, and I was taught to breathe into my tummy, and I learned it, and I didn't like it, but I exercised more. A lot of us do stupid things like that, and so here we have to say people have to like it.
Mhm.
If you have to
Yeah.
force yourself to do it, it's not yours. So my asthma got worse, my scoliosis got worse. And then I realized that there's something to my breathing, and I told my body, asked my body to please show me how to breathe. And it really expanded the thorax to widening it to the side, and I felt there is something, an in between story lifting up, something I have never felt before, and that I knew inhale through the nose, exhale through mouth. I had already invented the tongue upright
Mhm.
in, so this ng thing that later became the ng, and I just followed the instruction of my body, and then I fainted. Came back and felt
Okay,
completely.
luckily you came back. Yeah.
I came back. Wow. So I fainted from getting so much um, air uh, I felt that this diaphragm is key to undo, to unwiden the scoliosis.
Mhm.
And then what I do, meanwhile, it's really the body is my teacher. I'm a good observer and I can think logical. And whenever something new come up, it has to go through my biomechanical logic.
Mhm.
And then there are rules. It has to feel good. It has to be economic in the doing. It has to be logical to my body, and it may never counteract to something else. Nothing can ever go on to the expense of something else. And then what I loved right away it is the fact that it's always the more beautiful solution.
Mhm.
When I wasn't sure, I would work, we work in front of mirrors a lot. I would do it in front of the mirror, and it was, if the word like that, no, can't be. But if
Uh,
it,
mhm.
okay, this is, and I like that. And even that is logical to me.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and it looks good. Yeah, amazing. And I think that's the wonderful thing about the CANTIENICA method, that we acknowledge that everybody is different, that we have to listen and really feel our body. And
Yes.
I think that's the big thing, isn't it? Like I think if you just go to the doctor and say, something is wrong, just fix it, like whatever, very often it's not successful, isn't it? But I think once we realize that we actually have to listen to our body to feel it
And
and
that
get
we are unique. If you think that no two snowflakes are the same. And thank you for mentioning this because uh, the exercise, the alignment of the shoulder parts, the alignment of pelvis and vertebra and everything sort of follows a robotic idea of a perfect human being. And this robotic idea has to be adjustable enough for every single unique individual human being. And that makes it so interesting. And you know that from the teaching is created to really include this idea, that we ask a lot and we tell people we are the travel guide. It's your journey with your
Mhm.
unique body. And we ask and ask and ask, which irritates people sometimes. Why do you ask me? You should know. No, I don't know your body. How long are you living in your 50 years? So I wouldn't dare tell you what feels good for you. And then I feel, and I wonder how it is for you, that this is really people who want to be told what they feel, who believe in outside authorities. If they stick to it, they tell me it's been tough in the beginning. And if
Mhm.
they quit, that's mostly the reason.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to be
Yeah.
told what to do.
Yeah, and I think we just have to accept that it's our own responsibility, that we have to take matters in our own hand. But I think that's so wonderful as well, because I can say, okay, I want to change something. How do I do it? I don't have to rely on doctors, to see what are they doing, saying whatever, I just do it myself. And as you
And
said,
now
I think.
look at most medics and physiotherapists' own posture. They don't know better. If I know this guy has an artificial prosthesis in the hip or the knee, I don't believe he can tell me how to use my body.
Yes, very true. And even if it's just for this moment, where he does something, adjust something, but then 20 minutes later, you're on your own again, like your whole own life. And I think, yeah, that's just great, just like to learn how actually to use the body. I think that's so great about the method. And then we can just apply it in everyday life, whether you do loads of sports or if you're a professional, whether you don't like sport at all. I think that's amazing because it is so different to any other sport. So I would even say, if you hate doing sport, just try it as well. You might love it.
We have quite a few people who say this is all they need.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I love to, as I said, but then they do bike or they do when they go for a walk. They really walk and not just sort of uh, do a couple of slow steps. And the fascinating thing is that most people realize and feel the resilience
Mhm.
that they know how to, when they go hiking in the mountains for a couple of hours and they do a misstep, they know how to
Mhm.
fix it right on the spot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's something I love too. I can fall, but I fall like a cat.
Mhm. Yeah.
I
You
get up.
stand up again.
Yeah,
Yes, then you know how to adjust your body then. Yeah.
yeah. So we talked about the bones, and you mentioned the core musculature. A lot of methods talk about the core, but very few really mean the core, which for us really is the pelvic floor and the diaphragm and the palate and the tongue and everything. And I sometimes amazed about the lack of knowledge. It should become a topic in schools. I feel that kids really learn more about their body.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
And then I feel that people are sort of shy and timid and sometimes ashamed that they know so little, which
Mhm.
I would love to overthrow and tell people come and feel.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially like kids, I also like explain to some of the kids, like, oh, this is our spine, how it works. And all of them, they're just so interested in it. So I really think, if they grow up with this knowledge, already know, okay, or I'm very tall, like I'm straight, I'm growing towards the ceiling. And yeah, I think so too. This would be amazing if, or yeah, yeah. But like one question, because you already developed now the method for over 20 years, and I know you constantly come up with new, either like new pictures that really help us, or how do you still just like continue to your body and still after so many years discover new things in your body, or is it more that you're
It's like
looking at your client?
an instrument. When an instrument is well kept, if you really have
Yes.
I was a victim in my body. I thought it's punishment from God, must be some karmic stuff, blah, blah, blah. And when I started, now I'm realizing this is a Stradivari.
Ah,
And the music
yeah.
on a Stradivari gets more and more beautiful with my own skills, how I play it. And I
Mhm.
think this is just too beautiful. It's the miracle that lifts me. I had the image of being an intellectual. And some people still ask me, friends from journalistic times, what happened to you that you became so physical meaning something lower than the brain. And then I tell them, I do see a lot of bodies without brain walk around. I've never seen a brain without the body. You know, it's first the body. Without the body, I cannot think. And the fitter my body gets, I would love to give an example to the viewers so they get an idea of what we are talking about. The more fine-tuned my Stradivari is, the more beautiful the tunes the instrument plays, and that's just beautiful. You know, I'm in an age where most people say, well, there is nothing that can be done. I'm not as fit as I used to be, and this and that. And it's not true. My body is the best ever.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
And I don't really know. I think I know that from other people who do other things, artists or musicians. I ask them, and they say, if you say yes to inspiration wholeheartedly, and if I have done the homework to learn the tunes and really get to know my Stradivari, it uh, it just it becomes autochthonous. It just keeps on working. My intuition and inspiration, they're just on duty all the time.
It's just,
I
yeah,
think it's lovely.
yeah,
I
yeah.
learn from every single person I meet.
Mm, mhm.
It's like a channel that's open.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you know, I'm working with eyes and brain exercises. Most difficult is hearing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that because that was trauma so early in my life that I find even scoliosis. I realized one day behind the scoliosis there is a straight me.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to find that straight me, but I do not know what it feels to have a undamaged
Yeah, okay. Okay, but
hearing.
maybe that's still a big, big challenge. So
Yeah,
you're
I'm
still in the
working on
progress.
it, and I won't give up.
Yeah, yeah,
Now,
definitely.
Michelle, you mentioned it already. Discipline. You are really disciplined. How often do you exercise with Cantienica?
So once a week I exercise with you
Mhm.
online.
And usually you take double classes.
Double classes, yeah. So one is in German and one in English, where everyone can attend. So you don't need to be an instructor to attend the class. And then I try at least once a week to do an online class with one of the other instructors in your studio. Because I think it's so great to go to different instructor. Every instructor had a different teaching style, explains the exercise a bit differently,
Yes.
might have another the image. Um, Yes, I think it's really an inspiration to see how other people teach Cantenica and also how they describe it. So I feel like, with every instructor, I understand something a bit more or, see it from a different perspective. So I feel
If
like,
someone suffered from incontinence, herself or himself, of course, he or she would explain that in the way she repaired herself, which always was very important to me. I never wanted clones. I
hmm
wanted to the richness of personalities. You know, there are the vivatomical rules. Vivatomy meaning the knowledge of the living anatomy and not the dead. And that's lovely. You never exercise for yourself. You never listen your own voice.
Oh, yes, I do. And it depends. There are times where I feel like, if I work, in a group, I just work more, like, I challenge myself more. But
Okay.
then I also have times where I really feel, oh, I prefer to do my own workout, to focus, on my own body, to really feel in my own body. And even there, I feel like, I can either do it very challenging, so like a proper workout, or also like a bit softer. And it's kind of also meditation for me. And afterwards, I'm just so refreshed, so in peace. Because I did it like during the pandemic, I tried meditation and it just wasn't working for me until I realized, like, oh, actually, when I do Cantienica, or especially, if I work, for example, with my skull bones, like it's an amazing meditation for me. So it's
Oh,
really
that's
great
lovely
to
that you
learn.
say that. You
Yeah.
say skull bone. There it's
Mhm.
amazing. You really can feel the all body cells, and I love that.
Yes, 100%. And I think maybe that's why I think with Cantinica we don't even need music, because I feel like, if you focus so much, inside of your body, your bones, like,
But maybe it would be a great start to get people there. And
maybe, yeah. I
you
mean,
know,
again, I can see both, if you do more like the challenging things, it might be if you have a good beat, every pulse one
and
beat.
then sort of, I think of offering classes with music and without, or sort of do like they do in yoga, the last 20 minutes without,
Mhm.
when people
Mhm.
really sort of came down, feel more relaxed and ready to listen to the magic within. Then the motivation. What's your motivation? My motivation is always knowing that I get to a new frontier, that my borders are moved away. With 74, I do splits in all directions. Something that said it cannot be learned if you haven't done it before 15. And it's just not true. So that for me, knowing how good I feel, sometimes I feel, I'm not in the mood, but I know my bones are in the mood. And then I do my training and I feel better. And like a lot of people doing Gantienica Body in Evolution, for me, it's for mentally great. It keeps me more centered. It helps me to manage stress. And when I have my, meanwhile, very rare depression streaks, it just brings me out right away. So
Yeah,
that's
wow.
enough motivation. And I
Wow,
know
that's
that from a
amazing.
lot of people. I know a lot of people who say they manage their depression
Mhm.
without medication or anything. With motivation, what motivates you?
So for me, it was, as I said, prevention and also, just the thinking, because I just don't understand, people once they turn 60, whatever, everything is normal to have backache, like whatever, to not be able to walk anymore. So I was always thinking, I never ever want to be like this. I want to be agile. And I think you're like a really, really great example. Like, I mean, I know you in real life as well. Like, you're so flexible, like, still running around, doing splits, like, so much better than I think all of us. But also, I just feel how great I feel. Like in the morning, if I start my day with Cantinica, even just 10 minutes, it just makes such a difference. And I also feel like compared to sport, as I said, I do loads of other sports and I just absolutely love it. But for example, if for 1 week I only do sports, very balanced, I always warm up, I always stretch. But if I don't do any Cantinica, my body just doesn't feel the same. Like I'm not as light and free as when I do Cantinica. But just amazes me, like even with mobility exercises, stretching, it's just not the same as actually working with your innermost muscles, your bones, your joints, your ligaments. So I think for me, it's really the feeling, how I feel. And then I think I also have a bit the motivation, my scoliosis to improve it a bit further. I just want to test, like how straight can I get it?
When I talk to young people, they tell me, oh, well, what's prevention? I'll never get that old. So I just enjoy what I can enjoy. So, how can we let people know that this is joy?
Yeah, and I mean, I do kind of understand, you think, oh,
Yes,
maybe in
we do.
40-year times, whatever. But I think because now I already feel the benefit, I think, once you started it, it's not just what's in 40 years, like what's now, how even do you feel now?
It's 100% return on investment. You agree as lawyer
Yeah.
in financial service? No, motivation is high.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, now I think definitely you just have to find your motivation. I also understand, if you just feel like, yeah, I'm too lazy, whatever. Sometimes it's difficult to start. But you don't even need anything, there are lots of exercises you can do standing, just sitting on the floor. You also don't need a lot of space. You don't have to go to the gym. And I think just starting it and just feeling the benefit. Um, and then I think like once you felt the benefit, you will just do it over and over again.
And I recommend to get rid of excuses. I
Yeah.
tell, especially women, young women with kids and lots of duties tend to forget or cross in their agenda first what's best for them. So I keep telling them to make an appointment with oneself and really put it in the
Oh,
calendar,
that's
the
good.
agenda,
Yeah.
and stick to it. Take it at least as seriously as the visit with the hairstylist or whatever. And
Hmm.
very often they say it's a good thing. And mothers, as you said, you can put it into 10, 12, 20 minutes. You always find those, and then you're just um, a, a better mother because
Yes,
you feel
definitely.
good in your
Because
body and you are capable of playing around with the kids.
yeah,
I
yeah,
find that it energizes me a lot.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, bodies are there to be moved. So we're not created for just sitting on our desk the whole day.
Definitely not.
Hmm.
Hey, that's fun. Is there something more you would like our listeners to know?
I think just trying is the best. And I think, just also wanting to try it because I think, because I experienced myself my first cantina come out, so oh, like whatever, what was the I didn't feel anything. Just to be willing and to be open for it and just to try it out.
Yeah, good old beginner's mind. So at the moment, you are mostly teaching privates.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's hope that you will have 5 studios in London a year from now with a bunch of beautiful teachers. I would like to mention that as well. If someone becomes interested in doing the training, we do have uh, a level system, a basic module, and because it's all empiric, you can go out and teach classes right after the initial training. And then if you feel like going on to more into depth, there is level 2, level 3, and level 4 is for fun with gymnastic balls, elastics, and other tools. You don't have to be a physician. You don't need an anatomical background. On the opposite, I have 5 master teachers that start to develop and create new workshops and new fun programs. And all of them come from other professions. And they are extremely good. Like just like you, Michelle, you didn't know much about your sacrum or your
Not at all.
longitudinal ligaments or the
Yeah,
diaphragm.
nothing.
um, and I think it's the beginner's mind.
Yeah.
Therapists or physicians have learned what they have learned, and
Mhm.
it's a challenge for them to reprogram. They manage, but I myself, I've been a journalist. I'm a complete autodidact, and I think if people understand the method, love to train people without the helper syndrome.
Mhm.
Very important for me, as you said. It's your responsibility, it's
Yeah.
your body. So you're very welcome to do the training. Even there, no bias, no prejudice.
Mm.
Um, yeah, that was
Perfect.
lovely.
Yes, thanks for the talk. I learned
Thanks
a
for
lot about you.
the.
There's a bit more that I learned about you. Yeah, it was lovely. I could talk about the CANTIENICA method for hours. So yeah, it was lovely. Thanks, Benita.
Thank you, Michelle. Bye. See you next Wednesday.
Yes.